Right, 2024. It's been a while. We're down at Dennis's shop, and Craig arrived last night at midnight after 7 hours worth of delays coming in from where?
Stockholm.
Stockholm. He's a man who's employed and got a job, and yeah, that's part of being the boss. Dennis, on the other hand, he's been around non-stop. He doesn't travel. Do you?
Not much.
Not much. But he gets around. So, in 2018, Craig came around for the first time to visit with Dennis, do the road trip. And the first thing Dennis did on the Friday night was take Craig out in a raggedy-ass car that was missing the whole rear end, etc. There's a video of it somewhere. We'll see if we can find it. And in the meantime, Dennis has built a bunch of other stuff, including the NASCAR truck that you guys know, the Blazer, or actually it's a GMC Jimmy. It's a Jimmy, isn't it?
Jimmy.
I always want to call it Jimny because Suzuki stole half the name. And now he has started on the Chevelle. So tell us a little bit more about the Chevelle, Dennis.
It started out as a rust-free car, but it spent most of its life in a body shop, I think. It was pretty beat up, and pulled it in to make it a little better, and it turned into a full-blown frame-off deal.
So what have you? Where do we even start? What have we got as a motor in there?
It's got the original motor. The car had a brand new motor put in it before I got it. So basically all I did was clean the motor up, and it was a black GM Goodwrench motor. I painted it Chevy orange to be more period correct. But the rest of the stuff was pretty much on it. I put a Vitec fuel injection on it. I put a vintage air on it. And then
Just new radiator as well.
New radiator, it's got all new hoses, all new belts. It's got a QA1 coilover suspension front and rear. It's got a...
You'll see me fall over tools.
Tubular A-arms, slotted and drilled rotors, all new hoses, brake lines, you name it. Tie rod ends, ball joints, body cushions, everything's been replaced on it.
Right, and nobody's actually seen it yet. In the background is Dennis's grandson's truck, just as a matter of interest. This is a, what?
79.
79.
3/4 ton four-wheel drive.
And that's for Gavin, who's 5 years old at this point. That is the next truck that Dennis will be building, but for the moment, this is the Chevelle. Sort of just zooming out a little bit, getting a better picture. This was meant to be a rough and ready build, wasn't it, Dennis?
Yeah, it was going to be quick and make it better than it was and out the door.
And now you've had it on the rotisserie, you've had it upside down, you've got new bits welded in, you've done a lot of swearing, bleeding.
Yes.
Bled more than once. And at this point, it's a long way down the road and much better than it was when you started, clearly. But you can see this is new parts everywhere, only because nothing that was in here was wrong, because this car was driven down the road, as I said, with Craig in it. In 2018, they went down the motorway with very little of the car, but still. And at this point, what else have we got going? That's that rear end, that's your problem, isn't it?
Yeah, the rear body panel's where I'm at on.
Come on, let's have a look at that. I think you need to point out.
So the car was hit in the rear one time really hard when it was new, and it was repaired half-assed, and then it got rear-ended again right before I got it. So we got two accidents that happened in the same spot. So to buy the rear body panel for this car, you got to buy the whole floorboard. The car don't need the whole floorboard, so I was going to splice it in but the aftermarket part and the factory floorboard parts are not stamped the same. So it's going to be hammered and dollied all the way across.
If you look, you'll see in places there's literally a difference of about an inch, inch and a half in height. If you look at my hand going in here at the back, that is the difference, that you can actually move that much of the car. And you say, once this is done, what's the next job? Paint.
Body and paint.
Body and paint.
Find somebody to do it.
You don't know anyone who paints? Right. The other interesting thing about the car is that it was originally a vinyl top car, but Dennis has decided not to go vinyl because somebody already welded up all the trim parts, all the fittings and everything. And obviously cars without vinyl are a lot faster. So this is Dennis's current build, and then the minute he's done with that. So why are you actually building this? Because you can't wait to get onto your
The 34.
34 Ford, which will be built in the style of, we'll just go out here and have a very quick peep. This will be the California Kid when it's done, in black. This is the car that myself and Jerry went to fetch last year up in, was it Enid in Kansas? Way up in Kansas, 500 miles away. We were going to do a turn and burn, fetch it, load it, and drive it straight back the same day, 1,000 miles. And then somehow between myself and Jerry, and I still claim to be innocent, we forgot to take the money. So we loaded the car, strapped it down, and didn't have any money to pay for the car, which then got Dennis going and doing his very first, what did you have to do?
Wire transfer.
Wire transfer. First and last one ever. Anyway, Dennis doesn't do fancy banking, there's no need for it. So that'll be the next job as soon as the Chevelle's done, and this will be black with a bunch of special parts. You said, Dennis?
It's going to be original looking as I can keep it, but not. It's going to have a 400 small block Chevy in it. It's going to be a traditional built hot rod. Dropped axle, 9-inch Ford. Like hundreds of them have been built over the years.
Yeah. And you said the interior you've already got.
And it's going to be mohair, original looking, as close as I can get it.
Cool. And it'll come with about 12 sets of tires, so burnouts will be a daily thing. Cool stuff. Thanks, Dennis. Thank you very much. I think we'll take a walk down to the pond later on.